it's amping up. The contractions is amping up. They're getting super intense. You know when they get intense, when you start grabbing for the air and start rocking like this. I was rocking like that, trying to hold on to God, because I don't know. Oh, Jesus. It was so crazy. Everybody, it's your girl Zay, and welcome back to our channel. Today I'll be talking about my birthing story, about when I had my son. I had him at the hospital, so it's not about her yet. This is about my son. Next time it'll be a part 2, and then it'll be about my Ava. So because she was born at a birthing center, so I definitely want to tell the difference in both, because they were totally different. I might do this video on the same day, actually, so it can just flow together. So we'll see. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this video. So the day started like any other day. I had my son at 39 weeks and 3 days. He was born January 3rd, 2018. If you guys don't remember that day, in Savannah, it was a snow day. So it's snowstorm, as they said, but it was a snow day. So I had him during the snow day. So it was like any other day. So the day before, actually, because for the longest I was like, when is this boy gonna come? He taking forever. But you know, I just was bouncing on my ball, you know, just chilling, just getting my cervix checked. I wasn't really dilated. I think I was probably a centimeter. That was 1 centimeter dilated. So this is my first child, so it was different. I didn't know anything what was happening. I thought dilation was supposed to tell me, like, okay, the baby could be coming any day. That was false. All that stuff. So that day, I think it was I want to say it was a Wednesday. I have to look. I can't remember what day it was, but I remember the day before, the 2nd, my mom was at work. She came home. It was like around 1 o'clock. She came home early, and so she fed me some food because I needed to eat. And then what happened after that? She made me a grilled cheese. Simple. Good. So after that, I started bouncing my ball, just chilling, seeing what time my husband was gonna come home. And maybe an hour and a half later, I started feeling a little funny. I was like, okay. You know, this is a little different. What's that little feeling? Like, it felt like maybe like my period was coming on. So I was like, okay, maybe this could be it. So I was just, you know, doing how they said, start counting, timing it or whatever. So I started doing that. And they were being, you know, consistent. They were still, you know, they were spread out, of course, but it was happening over and over again. So I was like, okay. So I was like, well, I'm gonna bounce on my ball so I can make sure he get down there really good. And did that. And I told my husband, because he wanted him to come, like, maybe, I think it was like 2 weeks before. He wanted him to come early. What's wrong, Mama? Nothing wrong. So I called my husband. He was at work. I was like, well, I think the baby's gonna come today or sometime later. So he was like, okay, well, hopefully he'll come by the time I get off work. So he was at work, but he was like, I'm gonna make sure I make it. So from throughout the whole day, I was just doing what I do, making sure everything was together, because I already had my birthing bag together, because I was staying at my mom's. I stayed at her house early in the year, because we lived in Hinesville and my doctor is in Savannah. So you don't put a baby. Come on. Yeah, I know you tired. Yep. So did that, and I wanted to just labor at home as long as possible, for as long as I could, because I didn't want to go to the hospital, because I already went one time before, but it was for a urinary tract infection, because I was bleeding for whatever reason. But he was fine, but that's just my first time getting a UTI. So But I called my doctor, and they was like, well, you still talking? Well, you know, if your water didn't break, or if the contractions are not like 2 to 5 minutes apart, and you're not bleeding, you good, labor to as long as you can. And so this was a doctor on call, because my doctor didn't get into his office until 7 in the morning the next day. So I was like, okay. So I just kept, you gonna hit me like that, girl? Huh? So, oh no. So, Ava, thank you. I appreciate it. I do. I really do. Sorry, you guys. This is what happens when you have a 4-month-old who's teething. I know it. I appreciate it. I do. So, it was like around 8 o'clock. So the doctor told me that I can go, you know, take a shower, rest, get some rest, because, you know, once it's time, ain't no going back, and you might not have time to rest. So I was like, okay. So I did that, took a shower, right? Everybody else is in the bed. I ain't get to be in the bed yet because I'm so anxious or whatever. So I'm like, you know, it could be happening. So get in the shower, take a shower, get all dressed. And then I had to use the bathroom, wipe myself, and TMI, there's blood. So they was like, if you bleeding, you gotta go. So I was like, okay. So wake up, we leave. It's around 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's around 10 o'clock. So we do that, and it's like already getting cold, and we tired as heck. So I was like, okay. So we get to the hospital. They put us in triage in a little back room before they can even put us in the real room. But so they checked me. I was still 1 centimeter dilated or whatever. But this time my contractions was amping up. Like, you can feel them. And I think you feel them more when you laying down. That's how I felt. And they just felt really bad. Like, it really did feel like I was on my period, because I suffered from endometriosis before I had my son. So, and I had surgery for it too. But so they told me that I needed to walk for an hour, so up and down the hall. So I'm doing that, and I'm trying to get through. My husband walking with me. Walk for a whole hour, nothing happens. I got to like 2 centimeters, no progress, no nothing. So they sent me home, which I didn't want to happen. So I go back home. It's around like, maybe we get home, it's like 2 in the morning, 2 in the morning. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to just labor as long as possible at home, try to get some sleep as much as I can. So I'm in the bed, my husband on the floor, because he just collapsed. He was tired because he worked all day too. My mom in the bed with me. It's amping up. The contractions is amping up. They're getting super intense. You know when they get intense, when you start grabbing for the air and start rocking like this. I was rocking like that, trying to hold on to God, because I don't know. Oh, Jesus. It was so crazy. So, but I put in my mind that I was going to labor until my doctor got to his office, which was 7 a.m. And I did just that. I'm back, y'all. So, put little baby to sleep. Anyways, so I said before, I was like, I'm going to labor at home until I can't no more, basically until 7 a.m. because that's when my doctor got to his office, and I ain't want nobody else checking me. So, and I have a really good doctor, Dr. Andrew Tucker. Check him out if you're in Savannah. But yeah, I did that. It was getting really, really intense. I was like, this is my first time, so it was like, like I prepared myself, but I didn't prepare myself. Like, if that makes sense. Like, it's a real mental thing, because it's like your body already it's gonna hurt regardless. But I feel like if it's a mental thing, because if you just try to concentrate, it's getting closer to the time, and every contraction there's a break, it gets better. So we head to the hospital, and the snow starts to come down. So it's me, my mom, my husband in one car, and then my brother and my grandma are behind us. And funny story is, we were about to leave. It's cold, and my feet got wet, so my feet was cold. Oh, I was so mad. Oh, and contractions and cold don't go together. It don't. So yeah, so my brother, he said when we was leaving, we drove off, the car didn't start. So he was like, wait, don't leave. And my grandma was like, boy, they can't hear you. It was so funny. But luckily the car started, so there it was going. My husband running red lights. I was like, please, no, don't run the red lights. I don't want to die. He was like, girl, we gotta get to the hospital, hush. So we going. We get to the hospital. We park. So we go inside. They already knew who I was because I already came, like I said before, the night before. So they was like, okay, well, we gonna get you back in triage so we can get you admitted in. So I'm back in triage. This time I don't even know if they even checked my cervix. Then all I know is it didn't take long because Dr. Tucker was there and he was like, okay, well, let's get her into a room. So they got me into a room, and I'm in here moaning and groaning. And I had a very good nurse. Her name was Nurse Missy. She was an old school nurse, so she'd been there for a while. So she was really, really helpful. They made me sign the paper for an epidural, which I didn't want to do. But when you in so much pain and this is your first child, you really don't know what to expect at the time. So I was like, okay. She was like, just in case. And, you know, she wasn't mean or anything like that. She was just trying to look out for me because some people really can't handle it. And sometimes epidurals do help people. But for me, I didn't want it. And I'll explain to that later. So, anyway, so Dr. Tucker come in. He's like, hey, girl. Hey, friend. You ready to get this baby out? And I was like, mm-hmm. He was like, yeah. Okay. So, he broke my water. They did. Go watch your movie. So we did that. He broke my water, and I think that made my contractions worse. To be honest, I wanted my water to break naturally, but in the hospital it's different. Most of the time they try to speed things up, and when it comes to having a baby, babies come when they want to come. From what I've learned from having two, so. We did that, broke my water, and my son was facing the opposite way. He wasn't breached, but he was just facing my spine, and they wanted him to face the opposite way. So they had me in all these contractions. Okay, face down, butt up. Okay, leg up, and this little thigh holder. I don't know what they call, but they had me in all kinds of positions, and contractions was amping up because when I did get there, I was 45 centimeters, so I did really, really good as far as my dilation. So we did all of that, right? And I get all the way to 7. He finally turned around, and they was checking my cervix, and one part of my cervix wasn't moving out of the way for his head because they could feel his hair. Get 45 centimeters, get to 7, and I was so tired. I asked for the epidural. I was like, Mom, because I was in pain. I was tired. I was like, Mom, I said, I need the epidural. She was like, you sure? I said, yeah. My husband, and see, I told my husband before, I said, if I ask for it, try to convince me not to get it. But I was so tired. I was like, babe, I need it. He was like, you sure? You told me. I said, I know, but I'm tired. I'm so tired. So they gave me the epidural, and my husband, I had my arms around him, and they gave me the medicine, and the anesthesiologist was like, you had an epidural before? And I was like, no, this is my first time. He said, you took this like a G. I ain't felt nothing. I ain't felt that needle at all. Okay. So I guess I did pretty good compared to some people. And they were really good doctors. And plus I had great insurance at the time. I had my dad's insurance. So after that, after I got the epidural, of course I felt paralyzed. Can't feel nothing from the waist down. It was crazy. I was like, this is weird. But when it was time for me to push, because she was like, they were trying to push a C-section on me because like I said before, my cervix, sorry you guys, this hearing is bothering me, that my the cervix wasn't moving, one part of it wasn't moving out of the way for his head for some reason, and they were trying to get it, get his head to move, and he pooped in the womb. So they was like, well, either gonna hopefully something happens in the next minute or so, or you gonna have to get C-section. So I was like, she was like, if you believe in God, start praying. So we prayed, and luckily 2 seconds later I was like, that urge to push came. I was like, I think I'm ready to push. So yeah. And see, during this time it was flu season, so in the room it was just my mom and my husband. My grandma and my brother was in the waiting room. So, and it sucked because all my family was supposed to be there, and they couldn't because of the snowstorm, so they couldn't make it. I was so sad, but I was kind of happy to just have my mom and my husband there. So at least I had those two, because those they my heart. So, so I did that. Prayed, pushed. She was like, let's do 2 trot pushes. She was like, okay, she ready. And I should have spoke up, but when you were just ready to get the baby out, you're not really thinking about anything else. I wanted to get the bar where I can squat, even though I couldn't feel anything, so I can squat him out. I did not want to push on my back, but I had to. So, but only 3 push-ins, and I got him out, no problem. They put him on me for a little bit, then they had to hurry up and take him because they had to suction him out since he pooped in the womb. But I did hear us cry when they bothered him. That's when I started crying. I was like, oh, my little baby, my little baby. So it was so sweet, and it was really good. It was a great experience, and it was peaceful because nobody was in the hospital at the time because it was flu season and the snowstorm. So I think I was like the only mom right at that moment having a baby, so I was getting all the treatment, so it was pretty cool. So after that, I ripped only a little bit. I had to get like 3 stitches, and I ripped on the inside, which was weird, but my doctor, he was really good with that. He stitched me up really good. After that, I was able to hold him, do the golden hour, hold him on my chest for an hour, and before you know, he was ready to eat. He latched on so I could breastfeed him, and that was it. So we have my little poo-poo. His name is Massai. Massai Sean Michael Bethea, and he was 7 pounds. 7 pounds. Was it? I forgot how many ounces he was. See, I'm thinking about his sister right now because she was bigger. But I had him at 2:30 in the afternoon. So I got there at 7 and had him at 2. So, but it's cool. So I was in labor for a max of 26 hours. So it wasn't that bad. Pretty standard, I guess. But everything went fine. Nothing was wrong with him. He was perfectly healthy. He passed all his tests and everything. I was fine, other than y'all having to pee, yo. That's when I had said in my head I wasn't gonna have another baby, but that's another story to tell. But yeah, like that pee, y'all, is nothing. It ain't fun. And then with breastfeeding him, like, he didn't latch on very good. Like, he wasn't tongue tied or anything, but he just didn't get a good latch. So it took me some practice. He messed up this boob, and it had the blister on it. So I had to put the Lancino. Oh my God, Laniso. I'm talking about Lancino. What was it? Lancino or Lancino? I forgot the name of it. It started with an L. But put that cream on it. I had to do the nipple guard sometimes on that boob. It was crazy, but we got the hang of it after 3 months. Because I was sticking to it, okay? And, yeah, after 3 days, I was able to go home. No problems. I took everything I could. Ice packs, the underwear, the pads, all that, okay? But the second night we stayed in the hospital, my mom went home to get some rest because she stayed with us the first night. Second night, we was like, Mama, you leaving? She said, yeah, I'm just going to go home and I'll be back later or whatever. But she meant like she's going to come the next day. Boy, when we found out that she wasn't coming back until the next day, that's when we really found out we was parents. Because Massai was like, I'm going to cry until you hold me and put the boob in my mouth, okay? We was like, oh no, this ain't the life. And you know, I had to keep getting up to pee. I had my squirt bottle. I had to put that water in it. You know, he had to keep changing every time he went to the bathroom. He wanted to feed like crazy. He was a hungry little boy. and then you can't sleep with them in the hospital bed because of SID. So I was like, well, Sean, you need to just watch me while I sleep because he ain't going nowhere. So we flip flopped. We was tired that day. Okay, we didn't get no type of sleep. It was crazy, but I'll never, like, you can't replace it. You can't replace it. I'll do that day all over again just to have my baby. So, but my son is 2.5 already. It's crazy. So yeah, that's my birthing story. We got home. It was perfect. It was perfect. Everything went good. The only thing is that I wish I didn't get the epidural because eventually my back was hurting really bad. Like just back problems later on, and I think he wouldn't have pooped in the womb because I really wanted him to just as soon as he come out be on top of me, but that didn't happen. I think if they didn't break my water, he wouldn't have pooped in the womb or the epidural. I think it was either one or two. So yeah, but that's neither here or there, you guys. But that's my birthday story. So I'm gonna talk about part 2 about having my daughter. So like, comment, and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. Comment if you liked it, and hit that notification bell for the next video, y'all. All right, bye.